Welcome to the channel, guys. I'm Tyler, and what we got going today on the channel is we are going to be putting a new alternator in my 2011 Ford Edge. So let's get started. Before we get started here, I do want to talk to you about two must-have tools you are going to need for this job. You're going to need a mid-depth 15mm socket, because when you take off the alternator nut and the alternator bolt, it's too close to the engine block for a short, and you don't have enough room for a long. So you're going to need a 15mm mid-length socket. I have this in 3/8 drive. You're also going to need a Serpentine belt tool. You probably pay the money for the ratcheting one like this one. It has paid off tremendously on this job. It's paid for itself on this job. And that's an adapter from it. You're going to need both of these tools to do this job. Alright guys, so a quick little walkthrough here of what we're going to do. First step, you want to disconnect the battery and disable all the electrical going to the alternator. That's already completed. I've already removed the little foam cover that goes here. So what we're going to do next here, I'm going to pull the airbox assembly and the intake and all that stuff here. Get this out of the way, and then I'm going to have to pull the upper radiator hose, and I'm going to have to pull out the cooling fan, and then we're going to go from there. The alternator on this is in a not very good spot. It sits over here underneath this, back down in this hole. So we're going to get that stuff out of our way. We're probably going to put a new belt tensioner on it while we're here, it's going to be a bad time doing this. Alright guys, so to show you what I did real quick, all I did, I opened up the airbox as if I was going to change the air filter. I loosened this clamp. It's an 8mm. It goes to the throttle. And then I disconnected a sensor here. And then on the back side here, there is a little hole right here. And I just pulled this little tube out of it. Next thing here is this line we have to disconnect. A lot of people think you have to squeeze these. You don't. There is a little tab on the back. You just push it, and then it frees up the lock. It opens the lock, and you just pull the thing out like that. So I'll show you the assembly here. There's a little lock with this tab. You push this down. Don't squeeze this. You'll break it. Just push that down, and it opens the lock. These are 8mm screws. Airbox should just come right up. Pull it up. Alright, your airbox is out. Alright, so what you're going to have to do here to get this upper radiator. So now what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to pull this off of the radiator. So I like silicone spray. Seems to work pretty solid. Hose puller. Try not to break your radiator. With my luck, it'll fucking break. This is gonna make a big mess. Let me go get some pigment. Working it. Alright. That's what a rhino plug does. And as soon as you get the hose, obviously it's like gravity in physics. As soon as you get the hose above, it'll stop running. So you're going to lose some coolant, but not too much. Alright, now we got to get the cooling fan out. So you're going to want to unplug your electrical connectors here. Get them out of your way. What is that one on? Okay. Got this one. Okay, now this is held in, I think, by two 8mm bolts, I believe. It slides in on the bottom into two little slits. What is going on with this harness, man? Oh, I guess my car has a block heater. Alright, I had no idea. We'll zip tie that out of the way. I was wondering what that was. It was so out of place. Alright, there's the fan. I'm just going to drain my cooling system because I'm going to pull the hose off of the expansion tank over here, and I'm going to get everything out of my way, so I'm just going to pull everything off and make a mess. And all that coolant is going directly onto the alternator. So if you do this, just keep in mind, if you're not replacing the alternator and you have to do this, you're probably going to mess your alternator up from all the coolant. Alright guys, so I got the Serpentine belt tool in there, way down in there. And we're going to get the belt off here. So I got the Serpentine belt tool down in there. You really can't see too much, but you're going to pull it towards the front of the car. This tool is an absolute must for this job. You're going to pull it to the front of the car, and then you will just slide off the Serpentine belt. To get this electro connector off, you're going to need to just squeeze it with your thumb or your finger right on the right. If you're looking at it on the right side, if you're looking at it from the top, go down a little bit, you'll feel it press down. You don't need any tools. I'm just going to get this harness out of the way. This is a pain in the butt. After you unhook the alternator, there's another connector down there. Looks like this. It is on the AC compressor. I'd probably take that off to get this whole harness out of the way. If you're going to do an AC job, just take this AC line off, get out of your way too. You have a lot more room. Next, there is the two bolts. Believe they are a 15 millimeter. I think they're a 15. So we're gonna have to work our way down in there and get them out. I'm not gonna really be able to film it because there's literally, you can't see as it is, but we'll get down there and get them out and go from there. All right guys, got the alternator out, and my oh my was that difficult. Pulled the belt tensioner. Just to make my life easier, it's only 3 8mm bolts. It was pretty easy to do to give you a little more room. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now there is on the bottom side here, there is a long bolt, and then on the top there is a stud that goes like this and actually screws in. I unscrewed the entire stud, and then I was able to work the alternator out. Now, when you work the alternator out, you have to bring it out through the top. So that's why you have to pull the cooling fan. And be careful, I didn't damage my I didn't damage my radiator coming up. But be careful, because I could definitely see this being an easy way to punch a hole in your radiator. For sure, I would say it's very, very plausible. Alright guys, so we got the new alternator in. I know it really wasn't much to see, but let me give you a walkthrough how I did it. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to put the lower bolt in partially. I put it in about halfway. The alternator has a slit on it. I'll show you on the old one. You can see there's the hole. That's where it actually screws into. And there's a nut built into the back of the alternator. So if you put that bolt in halfway, you basically rest the alternator on that bolt, and then you roll it up and you line up your stud. So the stud is a 7mm head, and I just used that 1/4-inch long handle ratchet to get that in. And then there's a 15mm nut that you put over top of that actually secures the alternator to the stud. And then on the lower side, you just have to screw in that 15mm head bolt. And guys, it took me, I think, almost 20 minutes to get it in. I ended up getting the best luck from the bottom. Socket kept slipping off. And then I ended up using the Serpentine belt tool with the mid socket and the adapter to finish her off. Got it tightened down. Next is to reinstall the belt tensioner. I'm going to do that real quick. I'm actually going to put on a new belt tensioner because I already took the old one off, and I might as well put a new part on there. So we're going to put the new belt tensioner on, and on to the next. All right, now let's talk about why I have the old belt tensioner on a piece of 550 cord. So let me explain to you what I discovered on this awful job that I've taken on. I replaced the belt tensioner because I was already there and it gave me more room to get to the alternator bolt. So I'm all about taking stuff off to make my life easier. Getting the tensioner back on the other hand, was a different story. So the tensioner will not fit through the top of the engine. It will not go. So what you have to do, and I'm doing this all by myself, so I had to get it up in the engine about halfway, jam it up in between the compressor and the crank, all up in there, and basically lock it in place. Then I used my Serpentine belt tool the other day to reach down in there to grab the top of the tensioner, right here where I have the 550 cord routed to, where your 3/8 socket end goes in for it, and I pulled it up. When I got it to the top of the engine, it was lower than that down in the engine, and I ended up getting 550 cord through it. Now the reason why I had to do that was because I had to dangle it and tie it around this AC line up here. I had to dangle it down in there so I could get my right hand down in there to start the first bolt. It was a pain, guys, I'm not gonna lie. There is no way that I could have held it at the same time as putting the bolt in. There's no way to do it. So that's how I improvised with good old 550 cord. When you do stuff on your own, you learn real quick how to get yourself a third hand when you need it, whether that's with a ratchet strap, rope, a crane, a come along. There's all types of options, but it worked like a charm. I was able to get the bolts in, and guys, the hard work is done. Now we will put the front end back together. We will hook up the wiring harness and stuff first, and then we'll put everything else back in, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I am going to speed this video up. This is just me putting the vehicle back together. Nothing special. The only thing that was a little bit tough, took me a while to figure out, was how to get on the upper radiator hose clamp. That took me a while to fight and get the finesse. And then also a piece of the big wiring harness that runs across the cooling fan actually was slightly pinched, and it was pushing the cooling fan back just enough to where I couldn't get the bolts in. So just keep an eye out for that. That upper radiator hose clamp is just going to be a bad time. But guys, really it's nothing special, guys. The hard work is done. We're going to put it back together, put some coolant in it, and she'll be good to go. Alright guys, that is going to sum this video up, guys. Guys, this job was a doozy. This was probably the most difficult alternator job I've ever had to do. There just wasn't a lot of room. It is doable, but you do have to have the special tools for success that I showed in the beginning of the video. Guys, the book says that this takes about 2 hours, supposedly. Guys, this job honestly probably took me about 6 to 8 hours, somewhere in there. And most of that time was spent fighting with the alternator and the belt tensioner. Guys, it's not fun. I probably crawled on the ground about 100 times trying to finagle the way of the angle of the dangle, of how to get the bolts in and all that. But guys, it is doable. This whole job I bought all OEM and did it for less than, I think, $400 out of pocket, and that's including the belt tensioner and the alternator. Definitely was much cheaper than having to take it somewhere. Because I know if I were to do this job for somebody, I would have probably charged them no less than $1,000. This was a lot of work and not something that I want to do again. But anyways, guys, the repair was good. The alternator's working. My problem is fixed, and hopefully we don't ever have to do that again. So anyways, guys, that is going to sum this video up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please shoot me a like and a subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and stay tuned for more content. Thanks, guys.